Welcome, everyone, to the Your Energy First podcast. I'm your host, Emily Marie, and it is such a pleasure to have you here today to co-create with you in this space and to talk about all things your energy. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. In today's episode, we are going to talk about how to remove a hex or negative energy or a spell. And this is not to be confused with us working with the dark. So I have experienced practitioners over the years who say, I don't do this work, I don't dance with the dark. And in their mind, removing these things is that. And I just want to be crystal clear that what we're doing and what I teach is you coming from a very empowered place. Oh my goodness. The guides are kind of dropping all of our energy into us right now. If you're new to this podcast, I hold space for energy activations that are only for the highest good of all involved. I connect directly to Source. Source gives me energy and allows me to hold creative healing space for you, for your highest good. It's your higher self. It's your spirit team. It's your connection to Source. That even though I'm an anchor on this earth plane for this kind of work, it is coming from your higher power. I just want to be very crystal clear with that because every energy healer intuitive does a little bit differently, but I do hold space for activations. I've been doing this for years. I have thousands and thousands of hours of practice. So if this is something that excites you and you want to learn more about, please listen to the podcast. You can also book sessions with me. I just opened up the Aligned package, and the Aligned package is for anyone, if you're either on your journey sort of looking for your purpose, or if you know what your purpose is, but you want to take it deeper. Maybe you are hitting roadblocks or plateaus. I actually work with people who are already successful in their businesses and their lines of work, but they want to figure out how to use their intuition more to bring their energetic skill sets into their job. They also want to make things more easeful. Sometimes what made us successful and got us there needs to actually shift. And it's really fun work. I love doing it. And you can find that on my website at emilymarie.com. We're also going to post it in the show notes. But you get to work with me one-on-one, and I hold space for your spirit guides, and you receive energy healing, and they come through with incredible support and messages. Truly guidance that you've probably already been receiving. And what I love is that it helps everything I teach and hold space for helps you build your own toolkit. I teach to fish 100% of the time. I do not do something unless I can teach it. And I love it because then you walk away from our time together and you're like, I know how to do this now. I can do this for myself. And then it's nice to have people hold space for us once in a while too. I have the same. I have a friend or somebody I trust. I'm like, I need you to hold space for me. Help me point out my blind spots or help me work through this. It's a very normal part of the human process, okay? We don't want to shame people for receiving different types of support. Okay, so when it comes to the dark, there is a very distinct difference in being in your light, being in your power, and let's say, what's a good word? The term the guides are using is handling the dark, but the energy and the tone behind that is not in a way that is boastful. The energy does not feel like even triumphant. It doesn't feel of ego, right? It's more like, okay, I'm in a situation where something of the dark has presented itself, and that's not in alignment with me or whomever it is I'm supporting. Therefore, I'm choosing to use the light to absolve this dark and move forward in a way that's healthy. This is very different than, say, being in the dark arts or dark magic or dark craft. And entry into that is a very slippery slope. It does not just have to mean you're a devil worshiper, which is, I think, what we jump to, right? I know people that actually work with both the light and the dark, which is just insane, isn't it? Just for the record, I continue to choose the light. That is my choice. When people say, what are you? I say, I'm a human who chooses the light every single time. So when it comes to like working with the dark, something that might look like, and I know I've touched on this before, but I'm learning these lessons of I need to share more stories and repeat so that we can learn it in different ways and let it sink in deeper, which is good. So when it comes to what would be considered something that's working with the dark, if you were to say there was a home you and your family, you're going to move, or you're flying solo and your life's amazing, or you've got a family and you're going to be moving and you really set your sights on this house and you're like, this is going to be the perfect house for us. I just know it. And you're like, I set the intention, we get the house. I set the intention, we get the house. Or you decide to say, which by the way is not, I don't want anyone to feel bad if they've done something like that before. That's very different than darker magic, of course, on the spectrum, that's like very light. But what we're not doing is, in that case, you're not saying, if it's for the highest good of all involved. Maybe there's an even better house for you. Maybe that house was meant for somebody else. Maybe there's a house that's going to be more energetically supportive to your family. There's so much energy involved when we move and transition homes. Also, Spirit wants us to call our homes more of our oasis. So if your home does not feel like an oasis right now, that's okay. Give yourself grace and baby steps. And maybe it's your goal that in a year and a half's time, your home feels like an oasis. Or maybe 2 years' time, because it takes a lot of time to shift those things, right? It doesn't happen overnight. It's one of the biggest misconceptions about energy healing work is we think it's going to transform like that. And sometimes it does. Sometimes we're ready to shift an emotion and things do shift quickly, but it does not necessarily mean that it was just because of the energy work. It's the energy work you did, the personal development work you did leading up to that. So another example, so say, that would be darker work, right? Is by saying, is by not choosing something that's for the highest good of all involved. I've used this example before, but I see this a lot, especially on YouTube and certain social medias. But love spells work. And unfortunately, it is not always for the highest good of all involved. And anytime we're in a pattern of wanting to bring somebody back into our lives who voluntarily is not coming back into our lives, there's a reason for that. Spirit's either protecting you from that person, there's better out there for you. If you're feeling that way, there's inner work for you to do. And I really hold my heart gently when I say that, because I know how fragile our hearts can feel. And self-love and feeling companionship and receiving good quality companionship in this lifetime is deep, deep work. And some of the deepest work we can do is actually unravel the fear of loneliness, the fear of being alone. It's not in our human nature to be alone, right? So doing spell work to bring somebody back works, but it's also not for the highest good of all involved. That's actually dark work. It is what it is on the spectrum of dark. So something better would be, I set the intention that like the perfect partner for me comes into my life at the perfect time in the perfect way for the highest good of all involved. Then if it's meant to be that person, sometimes people need to grow apart in order to come back together. And that's a beautiful thing too. But we don't want to do spell work on individuals. That's not good. And there is other types of spell work. Let's see, I'm asking the guides right now if, because just our words alone is spell work, right? But when we are careful with our words, I have said this before, I will be a broken record till the day I die for the highest good of all involved, connect to the light for the highest good of all involved. When you do those two things every single time you work with energy and set an intention, you will receive far more than you ever imagined. It's a really beautiful thing. So let's see, sometimes we bring in dark work, dark spells. Contracts are a big one. Contracts from other lifetimes. It's funny, one of the things Spirit's showing me is that like in this day and time, there's less space for spell work that's not of the light. Probably, which is why I've been getting the nudge to make this video public. Because in the past, one of the things I've been taught is that in order to have spell work or hexes or negative energies removed from you, you have to have somebody do it for you. That's what I was taught at a certain phase of my life. And my guides are like, Spirit is like pish posh. These are things you can also do on your own. And you can do things that are going to help keep your energy clear and stable and strong so that these things cannot affect you no matter what somebody tries. Now, I will say there may come a point in your life, you're doing such deep healing work, you just think, you know what? I can feel this person's, or I can feel a negative energy. I would like to receive support removing it. Do it. Good for you. Amen. Absolutely. That is a beautiful, wondrous thing. It may actually remove faster because, as we all know, many hands make light work, right? And it's a beautiful thing to receive. There are a lot of people that do negative energy clearings and removals. I'm one of them. I can also refer you to some other practitioners I trust to do this work. If you're feeling inclined to work with someone, but it's not me, as always, I'm happy to take on clients for this type of work as well. But as I've said, there's so many amazing practitioners out there in this world, and we need to experience a variety, right? Not just one. We don't need just one person's medicine. Also, if you attend any of my energy meditations, I actually hold space for clearing in those. I'm telling you, on days I'm hosting group space, I eat my Wheaties. I eat so much food on days I hold space for energy work because there's so much involved. So much food. I need to just record it one day. I don't even know if anybody cares, but maybe I'll do it just for fun for myself. So clearing energy work. This is one of those practices you can do just when you feel the gentle nudge. This is a practice you can do when you feel like your thoughts aren't your own, when you feel really discombobulated, more so than normal. You know, when you feel the kind of discombobulated where it's like you can't find your footing, and it's like no matter what you try, you just can't kind of get that anchor. You can actually do something like come to this meditation again and revisit it, because this holds that space for that activation and healing support for you. There's also many other good ones out there you can find that are going to have the same positive effect as this one. But this is how you would use that. You can either integrate these tools for yourself and use them on a regular basis for you, or you can revisit this and listen to it whenever you feel called. So there's no right or wrong way. And the other thing you can do is you start to build relationships in your life where you know other people having these conversations, talking about this stuff. You can share these kinds of things with them and then ask them to hold space for you and say, hey, will you set the intention and hold your light for clearing for me, for the highest good of all involved? So we can help each other out too, right? It's so, so important. And let's see here. The other thing, as we're rolling into this now, that Spirit's saying is trust what comes to you. Trust what you feel, trust what you know. If you are doing this work and you feel like dancing, if you're doing this work and you feel like eating oranges, if you're doing this work and you want to cry, if you're doing this work for yourself and you're thirsty, do those things. Trust yourself. Don't think, okay, I have to sit here perfectly and make sure that the energy work is working. Energy works with us in so many different ways and in so many different patterns that if you feel like, hey, I need to go outside and stomp my feet, or I really need to eat green lentils, we do not know the kinds of energies that are involved, the type of dark energies involved. And for whatever reason, eating green lentils could literally be unlocking that key. So don't feel bad. Energy work is crazy and wild and beautiful. And at the same time, I've said this a million times, each of you brings your own special medicine. So trust what comes to you, even if it feels kind of bonkers. The guides are kind of joking, especially if it feels kind of bonkers, but only if it's going to be something that's supportive for you and for others, right? We don't want to do the things that are, we don't want to do things that are unnatural. Maybe green lentils for you is unnatural because it gives you gas. I don't know, but that's not a message for everyone. Okay, getting into the clearing now. First thing we're going to do, they're getting the energy set up for us right now, because Spirit knows already that your intention is to do a self-clearing, they're really focusing on these hex clearings, these dark energy, dark entity, negative clearings. I just want to acknowledge that this is really big work. This is not, 1, 2, 3 manifestation. This is big work, and it's brave work, and you're reclaiming your power by doing this. So I see you. Good job. And if it feels freaky, congratulations, you're human. But the more you do this and the more you're in your light, you're going to realize, okay, I've got this. And then we move on. And then we do manifest, right? And we do have really good days. We're not always worried about clearing. Our life is not, just because you're doing energy work doesn't mean you need to constantly be clearing dark stuff, right? This is something that you use when you feel like you need to, once in a blue moon. Okay, not to bring moons into this, but because we love a good moon. All right. They're also acknowledging that things like moon gazing, where you stare at the moon, obviously being in big bodies of water, things like that will clear. So here is what makes this impactful. We're going to set intentions. You're going to set intentions for clearing. You're going to call in support to do the clearing for you. You're going to reclaim those aspects of yourself. So while taking Epsom salt baths and being in nature is incredibly clearing and healing, yes, what makes this just a little bit different is that we're consciously going into some of the darker parts of ourselves right now. And we're going to say, hey, I'm going to lighten this stuff up. I say that with a laugh, and then it's like, because we gotta keep it light here, folks. We're doing light work, right? We're doing light energy work. It's just happens to be that we're negating the dark. Okay, so start by saying hello to your inner light. Feel into your light and just acknowledge it. Breathe into it. Take another gentle breath in and feel yourself release. From here, say, I set the intention, I connect to divine source energy for my highest good and for the highest good of all involved. Step 1. Mission accomplished. Okay, from here we are going to call in support for you. So we are going to say now, I set the intention from my light. I call in divine healing and clearing and grounding support. As I work through this process. Now, by doing that, what's happened is Source has essentially assigned elements of the light. Maybe they're on your spirit team. Maybe they're coming in for a quick sec to be a part of your spirit team and help us with this clearing and grounding. Both go hand in hand of your energy. And also, when we work with Source energy in this way, this is really important. Source is refilling your cup. So while we remove an energy, there's actually elements of your energy that are going to stay with you, but that need to be healed. Source energy, your spirit team, does that for you. And then at the same time, we need to remember that Source is what handles or takes care of whatever this dark energy was. This is why our connection to Source is vital in this process. It is absolutely vital. Because as much as we are clearing, we also need to heal what parts may be traumatized from this, and at the same time, what happens to what it is we cleared. We want to make sure that that is dealt with responsibly. But you're connected to Source energy, so congratulations. You are all set. Okay. Now we're going to take a breath into your light. Just breathe into your inner light wherever it sits. And we're going to say, I claim all energy that is mine by divine right. Remains clear and true to me. I set the intention, any energy in my aura, I set the intention, any energy in my entire energetic field and system that is here of ill will, that is here of ill intent, that is here against my will is located within my energetic system now. There's a lot going on right now. And while we're here, we are going to feel into the soft spots. The points could be an entry point. It could be a point where this hex or this negative energy is holding on to within your system. And all you're going to do is think of your light and just know that all of the points where this is connected, where this is filtered into your system, all of these points are being brought to the light. Now say, I call forth specialists of the light to please heal and retract any of these negative entities, any of these dark entrapments, any spell work, known and unknown, to be divinely healed and unraveled. Breathe into your light. You're holding space for yourself while Spirit does this work for you. What slight shifts and nuance do you notice, if anything? Think about your light again. I call forth additional support and protection and clearing. So as we hold space for ourselves for this clearing is continuing to happen. Where do you feel this? Or what do you just intrinsically know? Keeping in mind it could be very soft and subtle, and that is okay. That is okay. We are still holding our light for this. Take a couple of breaths in and start to notice how you already feel a shift. You already feel a bit lighter. Good work, amazing work. Taking another breath in and letting it breathe out. Bring your attention back to your light. I set the intention for divine healing and clearing. Notice as you hold space for yourself, we will repeat and reinforce that we are working with the light, bringing more of it in. And all of a sudden, you just might feel like an ever so slight shift. Ever so slight. If you don't, the guides are saying you did. If you don't, just keep practicing it and see what you notice. Okay, what's happening right now is source energy is clearing these things up and also properly disposing of these energies. Now, disposing could mean a lot of different things. Because we actually did a pretty good wallop for all of our energy, different energies could have been handled in different ways. We don't know. We're on a need-to-know basis here. You've got enough going on. Aren't you just so happy you took the time to do this? Don't worry about the semantics of it all. You're amazing. You've just done some incredible energy healing. Okay, now what they're taking me to again is they're actually saying our heart center. So breathe into your heart center, and we're taking this a step further. Feeling into your inner light as well as your heart center. Do-do-do, you're so good. Do-do-do. Now say, I set the intention for any entrapments in my heart chakra and heart space to elevate and leave. I claim my light. I claim my heart space as mine. My energy is golden. My energy is beautiful. My energy is clear. Okay. Amazing things. Amazing work. That made me thirsty. Okay. Give yourself the next couple of minutes to relax, to feel into this. Know that you are being divinely guided and cared for. Amazing stuff. Amazing, amazing stuff. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey and doing this work to bring more light into this world. I honor you. My light honors your light. This is no small stuff, but it found you, you found it, and there's a reason for that. So thank you. Until next time, make time to enjoy your life.
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review, and make sure you've signed up for the newsletter for special insights, offerings, and announcements that are just for you.